From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried. And with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 110th Disney feature-length film from March the 23rd of the year 1973. It is a film called Charlie and the Angel, not to be confused with Charlie's Angels. But Charlie and the Angel, again from the year 1973, has a slew of returning cast members. I think this might win the award for the most Disney character or the Disney alumni. It has our old friend Fred MacMurray in his final Disney role. And then for supporting cast of people that are returning, please, have a seat because this is going to take a while. We have Harry Morgan, of course. We have Cloris Leachman. We have Kathleen Cody. We have our friend Kurt Russell. We have George Lindsay. We have Edward Andrews. We have Richard Backlund. We have Kelly Thornton, Liam Dunn, Larry Mann, George O'Hanlon, Ed Begley Jr., and Bob Hastings. And I'm sure I forgot some others because every single person in this movie has had a part in a different movie that we've watched recently. Also, Charlie and the Angel is based on the 1971 novel called The Golden Evening of Summer, written by Will Stanton, and I like the name The Golden Evenings of Summer better than the name Charlie and the Angel. But would you like to start us off with a synopsis about Charlie and the Angel and its all-star cast?
Charlie is a workaholic family man who finds out from an angel that his number is up and he will be dying soon. So he tries to change his ways and be a better husband and father with what time he has left.
And so it's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life minus the Christmas. But yeah, so any opening thoughts or facts or Charlie and the Angel?
I think you touched on it last week, but this is the last film that Fred MacMurray made for Disney Productions.
One of his last films ever, anyway.
Yeah, Kurt Russell and Kathleen Cody started an off-screen romance during this film, which continued through their second Disney film together, Superdad, which was also filmed in 1973.
Let's go.
And then A Century of Progress International Exposition, also known as the Chicago World's Fair, was held in Chicago, Illinois from May 27th, 1933 to October 31st, 1934.
Well, we know about Walt's use of the World's Fair.
Yeah.
For his theme parks, but
Mm-hmm.
and anything else? I have a fact.
I had a quote that I enjoyed.
We'll wait for that one.
Okay.
We'll wait till the time comes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. I'll probably forget, but sure.
Well, then go ahead and quote it now.
It's okay. I just quoted at the end.
Yeah. So, I have a fact.
Okay.
That when this movie starts, it says "Happy 50 years of Walt Disney Productions."
Mm-hmm.
So we're not quite at 50 years of Disney feature-length films. That's almost 40, but no, almost 30. No, more than 30, but we're, yeah, started in 37. But yeah, so it says happy 50 years of Walt Disney Productions. But would you like to dive right into Charlie and the Angel?
Sure.
All right, so we start with the opening credits. There's some old-fashioned hit music playing. There's an older couple played by Fred McMurray and what was her name? Cloris Leachman, the lady from Girl Meets World.
You did confirm it was her?
Yeah, you could tell by her face. She's the lady that owned like the coffee shop in Girl Meets World. So they're older couple sitting on a porch. They're talking about their finances and their future. Um, they see a shooting star, and she says that that the shooting star kind of like it's shining right towards McMurray's character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're all making wishes, and the mother wishes that she could go to Chicago to see the World's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the father, he wants to work for everything. He's a frugal man who, we're entering the Great Depression, and he wants to, he's worked hard for his money. But the kids are all obsessed with their wishes.
Mm-hmm.
But the father's like, look, times are getting hard. We have to run a sale at the store. So they run like some kind of 1 cent store or whatever. So the next day the father goes to the store to run this 1 cent sale, and the boys are listening to Captain Bob on the radio. Would you like to talk about Captain Bob on the radio?
So he is giving instructions on, it looks like how to put a kite together. And he's very dramatic when he's giving these instructions, but doesn't really give you enough time to do the instructions. So the boys are really far behind. One of them is trying to like cut the design out. The other one is trying to mix up the paste. Um,
Dog.
Somehow the dog gets covered in it when he's
Mhm.
slurping it around, I guess, in the mixing bowl that he's mixing it in. And it just turns into quite the disaster.
Yeah, so they end up making a huge mess, and they're like, if dad would have helped us. So it just kind of proves the point that the father is not the most active in their life because
Mhm.
he's working. But it cuts to the store. Things are falling all over the place. Things are going wrong. It's kind of like someone is headhunting. Everything like keeps falling on McMurray's character, whose name Charlie. I was gonna say I never wrote on his name, but he's the main character, so he's Charlie.
Mhm.
After work, the father, Charlie, he gets into an accident with the family car. He's like pulling down an alleyway, and a car pulls out, and he gets into an accident. Um, he gets out of the car to check out the damage, and he looks up and he sees a fancy dressed man sitting on the car that only he can see. Would you like to talk about this, gentleman?
Um, so he's dressed up in a suit and he has a cane that shows up pretty much throughout the film, sometimes before you see him.
Mhm.
And he is only seen by Charlie, and Charlie's trying to explain to him that this happened to him and da da da. And the angel's like, well, I'm an angel and your time is up. And he's like, what are you talking about? So he doesn't believe him, but then he starts showing him these things. It's like, oh, well, I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't. And I guess that sums that
Yeah.
up kind of.
So the mysterious guy knows all about him. It's his angel. Um, that was clearly the shooting star.
Hmm.
Father, Charlie thinks he's losing it, but the angel's like, your number's up. Your number's coming up. And he's like, the angel's job is only to deliver him.
Hmm.
So they have this long conversation about how like time is running thin, and they discuss living and using your time wisely. And
Hmm.
and he recommends that Charlie kind of use his time more wisely.
Yeah.
The angel states to spend more time wisely and be more careful, and then he disappears.
Yeah.
Charlie comes home with a bouquet of flowers to
Hmm.
his astonished wife. He makes them take the time to look at the sunset.
But she
Uh,
wants to know what he's done
yeah, because
because
you know he's
it's
not used
out
to
of
it. It'd be
character.
like if I buy you a bouquet of flowers, because you would care so much.
You
I bring
did.
you enough plants, and you got mad because they were gonna die.
I, I did not. I was having a bad day and you brought me flowers. It was nice.
Yeah, don't you forget.
But I do prefer plants over
I know.
flowers.
I bring you enough of those.
You can
Uh,
bring me more.
so that time at dinner, the whole family's there, the two boys and the girl. Charlie decides that he's going to say grace, and they're all just very confused. He says that the whole family should go to dinner after the movie, or should after dinner should go to the movies. But the daughter wants to hang out with her new date. She has two dates, which we'll get to in a little bit. And she ends up running off during dinner to join them because one of them, like, they both pull up at the same time and they're like honking.
Hmm.
The father likes one more than the other, but we'll get there. Uh, she says that she has to choose between her two dates. She chooses Kurt Russell's character,
Ray.
Ray, who's the father is not a fan of.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a
Doesn't have a job.
hoodlum or whatever.
Well, he has a car.
That's true. A nice car. They all have nice cars in this
He
film.
probably lives off his family's money.
Smart man. Um, then the two boys end up running off secretively and up to Charlie's, kind of being bummed out. He realizes that the boys are actually going to go to the movies with their friend and their friend's father instead of going with Charlie because their friend's father is always there for them.
Hmm.
Anything on that?
No, it's just, I guess he kind of,
Realizes that he hasn't been there for
he
them.
has been reaping what he sowed.
Hmm.
So,
So then Nettie, who is the wife, she's also like, "Well, I gotta go," and she runs off to go play bridge with her sister,
hmm.
leaving Charlie alone with the dog.
Hmm.
That was his dog's his friend. Um, the next day he's like, "Well, I gotta fix up this house. I've been, not doing much of the house." So he hires a guy to like help paint the house and everything.
Hmm.
He returns to the store and the angel's there. He says that Charlie is worth salvaging, but
Someone thinks he's worth salvaging.
okay. Um, and Charlie, like, he's like, "Well, what do I need to do to improve my chances?"
Hmm.
Right? And and the guy's like, "Well, you need to bring your family to the World's Fair because that's what they want to do. They all wished on going to the World's Fair." Um,
Well, not so much the daughter, right?
I don't know,
I
but
don't really remember her
but
saying it.
the angel says that he has to bring him to the World's Fair, and then he breaks into this whole like dance mat, like this whole musical number. So then Charlie's like, "All right, fine, I'm gonna bring him to the World's Fair," and he goes to the bank.
Hmm.
But you know who else goes to the bank? Everybody, because there's a run on the bank because the Great Depression has hit. And the bank is closed because there's no money in the bank. And that is something I fear more than anybody will ever know. Um, so there's a run on the bank, and the bank is closed because the depression has started. Banks are closed for a month until they can check to make sure that they're good to withstand or whatever. So we realize that they don't have any more money because it's all tied up in a bank that doesn't exist. So they can't go to the World's Fair. So he gets back to tell his family the bad news, and we realize that the Nettie has paid the painter in advance. So there, some of the money that they did have, $100 of it is gone because they paid the painter who's just a drunk in advance,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So then the boys also ask the father for some money. They ask for $2, I believe. Uh, he mentions to them about getting jobs. But he ends up giving him the $2, but then they admit that the $2 is actually for buying a Father's Day gift for their friend's father. They make him a cute card though. Um, and then they tie two like tin cans to a string and they're like talking with a friend, Little
Yeah.
Rascal style. So he mentions them that they should get a job. They are kind of young to get a job, but they should get a job. That night, he writes his last will and testament because he's all gloomy and he doesn't know what's going to happen. The daughter again has these two boyfriends fighting over her, and they get home late, and Charlie's talking to Ray, and he's like, "Where were
Yeah,
you?"
it was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
In the 30s?
because
You let your daughter go up till 5
because
o'clock in the
and
morning?
he had like a black eye because the other boyfriend punched him or something.
5 o'clock in the morning. I would have been
Well,
grounded for months upon
well,
months.
they were dancing at a bootleg joint.
Yeah, I would have really been grounded for
They
that.
were dancing at a bootleg joint because that's the only place where they can
At till
dance.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Um,
What place stays up till 5 o'clock in the morning with people dancing?
maybe that day it was only open till 2, and then homeboy got in a fight, and then things happened. Maybe he went to the hospital. Um,
Maybe they stayed open longer because people were depressed because they didn't have any money.
yeah. So we learned that the afterlife is still fighting over Charlie, so we don't know what his like next step is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Nettie hears him talking to the angel and accuses him because she doesn't understand who he's talking to. Want to add anything to that scene, or that the long and short of it?
She's up in the bedroom. She's trying to change, but the angel's there. And he's like, no, 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 don't do that. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm tired. I want to go to bed. And he's like, no, change in the closet. I will not change in the closet. Could you imagine if the roles were reversed, like in our lives, and I was seeing Angel in our room, and I didn't want you to undress in front of the angel so that way
Girl,
your dignity is protected.
I
And you're
don't
just like, what is she doing?
I don't undress in front of you. My parents watch this. Gross. Um, so the angels can watch all they want. Whatever. So the boys end up getting a job at the salvage yard.
Wouldn't the angels already have seen
I don't
anyway?
want to know. So the boys get a job at the salvage yard.
Yeah.
10 cents an hour.
Mhm.
I didn't look that up, but
I don't know. They ended up making quite a bit of
well,
money.
we'll get there. So 10 cents an hour. But they end up getting in trouble playing around like an old car.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the junkyard gets a delivery of like cooking oil, which we learn is illegal booze, bootlegged booze.
Prohibition.
John F. Kennedy. So it's illegal booze. So they decide, and it's like the crook is like one of the guys from like a previous.
Chicago gangster.
The one that keeps going around is like one of the guys, one of the bad guys from like the earlier Disney films.
He was. I
He's
forgot what he played, but he was.
he's in like the um Now You See Him, Now You Don't trilogy, where he's like the bad guy in that one.
Gopher kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. So this bad guy, he's like, you know what? We're gonna make the children deliver this booze to the establishment because no one's gonna expect that.
Mm-hmm.
So the boys, they'll pay them $5 each to deliver this. And they're like, oh, that's getting paid 10 cents a day or whatever it was, like comparatively for $5. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the boys don't really know how to drive, so they go on this crazy wildest ride in the wilderness, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, to get there. They
Mm-hmm.
almost run this lady off the road. This one lady keeps getting run off the road.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The lady breaks her lamp.
but then
Some kind of vintage.
not yet. That's the next time. But so they return with the money and they get paid $5 each for their trouble. So anything up to that part so far? So then Charlie is going to sell the store. He's going to sell the store for the family's own good. Again, Nettie thinks that he's losing it. Nettie again hears Charlie talking to the invisible angel. Um, this is I don't know. I jumped around here, but like um, he goes to talk to the daughter, and he's like, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna tell my wife all about this angel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what we're up to. And she's like, well, you're losing it, so she doesn't believe him, so she makes him go to the doctors.
Yeah.
The kids have to do some more illegal deliveries, and oh, so that's what it was. So he's going to try to find the daughter because the daughter hasn't come home yet. So then he goes to the Sadie's place, which is where the kids are doing the illegal deliveries. Like it's like the bootleg place.
Mm-hmm.
But while he's there, Um,
They go through a lot of cooking oil.
yeah, that's right. While he's there, a woman approaches Charlie because he's trying to find his daughter, and she's kind of trying to get some money out of him, we'll say. And
She was
she,
sent over to the
yeah,
table.
he ends up getting stuck drinking alcohol. She like tricks him into drinking some alcohol.
Mhm.
And at the exact same time, the place conveniently gets raided by the cops, and Charlie is on the front page. Want to talk about that? Second
Yeah.
film in a row that they make the front page. Was in the last film. Our Tarzan boy
Yep,
was
this
also
time it
on the
was
front
not
page.
for anything good.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he was looking for his daughter and he makes the front page for this raid, like you said. And his wife the next day is just going off about it because it talked about him and this lady, and she's
drinking.
like, "Oh, is this who you've been out gallivanting with?" And um, he's like, "No, I told you."
Yeah, I have an angel. Um, this is where the boys say, no wonder they can afford all that cooking oil, which I thought was funny. Um, but then we learn that the daughter is missing, and she left a note, and she has eloped with Ray.
Ugh.
She has eloped.
Could have been worse.
She calls and tells them that she's okay,
Mhm,
but she needs money.
mhm.
Um, at the same time, the cops called Charlie to tell him that the boys are assisting the bootleggers. Um,
Can you imagine that's how you find out?
yeah, at the same time, he's also like, um, he at the same time is like trying to talk to the angel, but the angel also like roller skating in the middle of the store because he's invisible, and
Mhm.
like this lady's dog like ends up chasing um the roller skates. But the bootleggers come back. The bootleggers come with some guns at the same time as the kids, and the boys are forced to drive them all out of town. Like they're like by gunpoint, and they like take them in like the old beat up car because they need to get away. Like there was like some kind of shootout, cops.
Yeah, and the car they were in, every cop would have been looking for, so.
The boys are faced to drive them out of town. Charlie is too late, so he ends up taking the um he ends up taking the gangster's car, which is a bad idea because everybody knows the gangster's car, and then the chase is on. There's some hijinks going on.
Mhm.
At one point, the Angel is driving the bootlegger's car, so those are the cars driving itself, kind of like back in the Now You See Him, Now You Don't movie. Same bad guy.
Well, during the hijinks, um, a ice delivery truck got ran off the road, and when it did, it went up a hill and all the ice fell out.
Mhm.
So it caused Charlie to wreck when he was chasing
Yeah.
the boys in the car trying to help get them back. And he ends up getting knocked out during this accident, but he's kind of like with it, but not enough to drive. And he's telling the angel, he's like, "No, I've got to get my boys. That's the most important thing right now." And then he's like, "You've got to help me." So the angel gets out of the passenger seat. You see the door open and then it closes, and the person that was driving the ice delivery truck is watching this whole thing. And you see ice get kicked out of the way on the driver's side, and then the angel pops in the car, just starts driving off. Can you imagine?
No. But Charlie ends up getting picked up because they think he is the bootlegger. He's brought to jail. But that night in jail, the angel tells Charlie that his time is actually up tonight.
Yeah.
Like it's been decided, your time is up tonight. Um, the At the same time, the boys are forced to bring the gangsters to their own house because that's where they're going to hide out. That's where they decide to hide out.
Hmm.
Everyone's in the same house. Everyone like there's a lot of confusion going around. Charlie's getting back there because they realize that he was not the bootlegger. The family's back there. The gangsters are there. The daughter returns home at the most inconvenient time.
But they don't know the gangsters there, only the boys know,
Yeah.
and they're not allowed to say anything because the gangsters have threatened them. And they're hiding up in the sister's room because the boys knew that she wasn't coming back because she was married. So they're like, you can hide out in there.
But then conveniently, at the
She
most
shows up.
inconvenient time that she shows up.
Hmm.
So whatever, it's come to a head. The criminals end up rounding everybody up in the house. They force Ray to give them the car keys, and they're going to take Nettie with them. And Charlie's like, "No, that's my wife. You're not going to take him." So then the guy takes his gun out and
He said, "Over my dead body," and he says, "Okay, well, just remember, you made
yeah, yeah,
you
you
made
asked me this.
the circumstances here
So they shoot him,
when they shot at him."
but no injury is obtained.
Mhm.
Um, they don't even know where the bullet is.
And
Like
then he jumps him.
he jumps him. He ends up
'Cause
fighting.
Fred is invincible.
He fights back.
I mean, I guess if you know that your number's up that night and you think you're gonna die anyway, you're gonna go out fighting.
They talk about that in Big Fish, not
Yeah.
this movie, but whatever. So they end up fight back, including Ray. Ray randomly jumps on one of the crook's shoulders, like this
Yeah, and
big
it made
fight.
no sense.
Yeah,
It was like a little kid
yeah,
would
he's a
ride
kid.
on like
Yep,
a
like their dad's shoulders.
yeah. But it's like you're the same size as this guy, if not possibly taller. Why? You could have probably just punched him.
So this big fight takes your typical Disney feature-length film
And
fight.
made it looked like Gomer Pyle at the doorway. Keeps trying to come in, and he got shot at more times than Fred's
Yeah,
character
the
did.
dude who was painting the house comes back. Um, so it's just all this nonsense is going on. Uh, One of the sons ends up grabbing the gun, and at the same time, the cops show up to arrest the criminals.
Mhm.
Um, the whole family thanks Charlie for saving the mom's life. Everyone's like, "Oh, you did it. We love you,
Well,
Dad."
the younger brother had got left upstairs, so he, during all this commotion, ran out the house
Mhm.
to go get help, and he ran back in with the police, and
Yeah,
that's when the older brother
that's
told
right.
him, "You just missed everything. Dad saved Mom's life."
Yeah. We also learned that there was a $5,000 prize for turning in Zudo. So that's a lot of money in the Great Depression.
I looked it up.
Okay.
So $5,000 during the Great Depression would have been around $96,247 and
But
1 cent.
just shows how bad those criminals were. So they got their money. And then, conveniently, at the exact same time, the banker shows up from the bank, conveniently, and he shows up with the money and hotel reservations for the World's Fair
Yeah.
because the bank has been able to be reopened.
Hmm.
Um, and the painter's like, "I have your $100 back." So
Yeah.
all these things are turning up roses or turning up Millhouse, whatever they say.
Working out for it.
The family shares
Finally at the end.
the family shares a moment with Charlie.
Mhm.
But then Charlie gets really somber because he realizes what the angel told him,
Yeah.
that his number's up. So he sits his wife down to tell her that he has to go to the store for an appointment. She's like, "No, please stay, celebrate." And he's like, "I have to go to the store."
Mhm.
He makes her promise that no matter what, the family has to go to the fair.
Yeah.
Um, and that he loves her. And if he could, he would do it all differently as long as, she was that they were together.
Hmm.
He goes in and he listens to his daughter like laughing in the bedroom with her new husband. He solemnly tucks in the sleeping family into their beds. He kisses his wife, and he's driving to the store because he knows his number's up.
Hmm.
After all these highs, we got a low. But on the drive to the store, the angel shows up in the car. The angel says, "Charlie, why do you have to be so difficult?" And that's it. That's the end. That's a sad movie. Just kidding. The happily ever after Disney feature length film. We learned that the gunshot was actually supposed to be like it for Charlie. Like that was Charlie's time. And the angel, because the angel liked him, was the one that flew in and stopped the bullet.
Hmm.
Um, and saved his life. So now he's not going to know when his time's up anymore. And he's going to be able to live his life with his family.
And he asked what he was supposed to do, and he said, "You're just supposed to live your life and not know like everybody else."
So now he gets to go on like everyone else, not knowing when his time is up, and he knows how to live. So then it cuts to the next scene, and
And he's in
they're
a very dapper suit.
it's true. Yeah, she keeps telling him like, hey, we should go buy a suit at Sears.
You remember a Seersucker.
Yeah, Sears suit or whatever.
Seersucker suit.
Yeah, and then
And I thought, what is that
the
name?
next scene, they're driving to the World's Fair in their new seats, and the angel comes down and keeps messing with Nettie's hat, and that's the end of the film.
Yeah, I do have something about the end of the
And
film.
what is your quote to
So,
forget?
yeah, so when they were at the end and they were going to the World's Fair, um, their hats, because they both had hats and hers blows off, but it like magically comes back to them. Um, the hats reminded me of the hats from a Disney feature film that we watched earlier, Make Mine Music, and it would look like Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet.
That was like
1946.
100 films ago.
1946.
Probably 100 films ago, yeah.
Probably
So
about.
if you watch it from the beginning, Deep Dive the Magic Pod, if you at gmail.com if you know that reference. But what's this quote that you were all excited
So
about?
the quote, it was a back.
That's how they can afford all that cooking oil? No.
Not the quote that got me laughing. So the daughter and the mother were talking, and the daughter said, "What's so wrong with Ray? I think he's cute." And the mom said, "I went with a boy who was cute once." And the daughter asked, "So what happened?" And the mom said, "I married him."
Sorry. And he was a famous Disney character or Disney actor who was in a bunch of films until this one. But we made it to the end of this film. I don't know. This film never got off the ground for me. But go ahead. What did you think? What did
I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but I didn't think it was that
I
great
didn't think it was that
either.
bad either. It just was, I don't know, it was odd. But we watched it. Fred McMurray had a
What did you say last? It was a solid
mid,
mid.
and I know I have to do some research, but like
I did have
if
high hopes with Fred McMurray being in it because normally I do like his films and his comedy, but he didn't have the comedic effect that he did in his other
I don't
films.
remember what the most because like he hasn't been in a few in a row, but like what the most previous Fred McMurray film was before this. But if it was Follow Me Boys, he should have stopped at Follow Me Boys because that was a good movie. I think that was a good write-off. But I'm sure he was in a film after that because that was a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but that was probably 20 films ago.
I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, normally I like
I'm
his
gonna look it up.
movies a lot more, but not so much this time. Um, so IMDb rated this a 6 out of 10. And I also decided I would rate it a 6 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. It did have some funny moments, but I don't know. It definitely wasn't my favorite. Um, the angel did not.
It's the dude from MASH,
Yeah, the angel did not
Harry, whatever. He's been in a bunch of films lately too.
fly his way onto my list. So,
Well, then what is your list upon a star while I look up Fred McMurray's films here?
so my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, Napoleon and Samantha, Snowball Express, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, Lady and the Champ, and Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
So his last feature-length film was, or the last Disney film before Charlie and the Angel was from 1997, and it was The Happiest Millionaire. So he did have to come back uh,
To redeem
to redeem
himself?
himself after that.
Okay.
But I want to see how many films he was in for Disney. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. It's a lot. Um,
Not as
but
much
hey,
as
we
Tommy
watched
Kirk.
it. Tommy Kirk. Um,
Who do you think's been in the most Disney films? Let us know. Deep Diving Magic Pod at gmail.com.
That one dude who was in every Pixar movie, the dude Ratzenberger or whatever, he's gonna be the guy that wins this for sure because he's like in every single one. But that's not that's a long time from now. But My List Upon a Star, sorry for the sidetrack. I wanted to check that. Is still 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Babes in Toyland, Napoleon and Samantha, The Aristocats, Pinocchio, and number 10 is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and we will put that right here. That's what the angel put it. But thank you for watching. We are on Instagram. All my hard work on Instagram. My one pre-scheduled post a day, or twice a week or whatever.
You pre-schedule it?
Girl, I work a lot. If you want to donate some money, then
I was just kidding. I can't believe you told your secret.
That's okay.
He doesn't do that.
I mean, I have to go in all the time.
Okay, whatever.
We are on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
We are on YouTube, where you could see me just look at my phone trying to figure out Fred McMurray's history. We are on our email, deepdiveinthemagicpod@gmail.com. If you liked this film, if you have caught something that we haven't caught, if you've watched all these films with us, 110 is a lot. I remember when we made it to 10, when we finally were like, okay, now we have a list of products that actually matters because we could kick one off because the first 10 automatically made it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that was 10. So our next film, number 111, from June of 1973. And this is the title of the film. I didn't title this film. It came out in 1973. But the next film that we're watching is called One Little Indian. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.